When I'm feeling down and blue, I found a trick that I'll share with you. I can choose a better way with every little thought I think. If I wake up with a bad attitude, I fill my mind with gratitude. I give thanks for everything with every little thought I think. I can choose to be happy, choose to be free, moment by moment. It's all up to me, 'cause what I think about, I bring about. That's the way it is, and there is no doubt. Day by day, I pave the way with every little thought I think. Trick that I'll share with you. I can choose a better way with every little thought I think. And if I wake up with a bad attitude, I just fill my mind with gratitude. I give thanks for everything with every little thought I think. I can choose to be happy, choose to be free, moment by moment. It's all up to me, 'cause what I think about, I bring about. That's the way it is, and there is no doubt. Day by day, I pave the way with every little thought I think. Day by day, I pave the way with every little thought I think. Whoa, day by day, I pave the way with every little thought I think. What you thinking? 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 You gotta watch your thinking. Watch your thinking. Watch your thinking.
Perfect message for today. Watch your thinking. Now, how do I do that? I don't have a bubble over my head that I can read, like in the cartoons, right? It's called awareness. Awareness. We have to be really aware of what is going on. And so the best thing I can think to do is center myself in that one presence and one power that we affirm every morning, or every Sunday morning, if you don't do it every morning on your own, which I do. So let's open our bulletins and look at that opening statement and make that affirmation together. There is only one presence, one power, and one activity, God, the good, omnipotent. And the prayer for our church. Now, we always keep in mind our church vision and mission when we say this prayer, which our vision is to be one of the greatest life-transforming family churches in the world, which for many people here, this church has been. Count me among them. And our mission, which is to love the soul, light the mind, lift the heart, and heal the body, which is what we are here to do and to support one another in doing. So we keep these things in mind as we say this prayer for our church together. Bless the work of our church, O Lord. Let our ideals be true. Let our efforts be helpful. Let our words be filled with healing. Let our attitude be joyful. Let the stranger find true welcome and remain as friend, for the Father draws his beloved to this place in his name. Let love and understanding among all people establish peace in our world. Father, Mother, God, we thank you. And now I invite you to bring to mind one or two other people that you'd like to hold in prayer today, and I'm going to ask you to keep Jerry in there. As you can see, our beloved pianist and technical expert is not with us this morning, and we have not been able to get in touch with him. And we know, and we hold in our thoughts and our hearts that all is well, and we're just going to keep that in our thoughtful prayers as we move forward here this morning. And so just Jerry, along with anyone else that you would like to hold in your prayers today in high thought, as we say this prayer for others together. As I behold the Christ in you, I see you happy, healthy, prosperous, loving, and beloved, going forth joyously to meet your good. And so we hold a vision of them moving forward with a look of joy on their face, with an open mind and an open heart, knowing that their good is before them now, with open arms, embracing the good that lies before them in this very moment. And as always, we are grateful for answered prayer. Amen. Now I invite you to join us in our hymn for today, which you will find on the cream color insert in your bulletin and on back of I Choose Love. And today's hymn is I Am
the Thinker. We're going to sing it a cappella. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. I am the thinker who thinks the thoughts that changes things that shape my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thought I have the power to change my life. If you ask me who am I am wisdom, I am light, I am more than meets the eye. I cannot be denied. I am the thinker who thinks the thought that changes things that shape my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thought I have the power to change my life. If you ask me what am I am beauty, I am joy, I am more than meets the eye. I cannot be defined. That changes things that shape my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thought I have the power to change my life. I can choose to be the light that brightens someone's darkest night. I am more than meets the eye. I cannot be defined. I am the thinker who thinks the thought that changes things that shape my life. I am the thinker who thinks the joy. I have the power to change my life. Last line again. I have the power to change my life. One more time. I have the power to change my life.
Awesome, guys. That was beautiful. I love it. A long time ago, I was in an a cappella choir. It seems like a really long time ago, because I think I was in like 7th grade. We even made an album. I think I have it somewhere. Okay, that was fun. All right, first, I would like to welcome our honored guest that is with us here today. And yeah, and I know that you've already been given a guest packet by our usher. And so I'd just like to point out a couple of things in there. First, there's a daily word, which is Unity's daily prayer text. Unity puts out a publication 2 months at a time. This is a generic one, and many of us here subscribe to the one that probably is for 2 months right now. I don't know which 2 months, but anyway, this gives you an idea of how Unity, the affirmative prayer practice that Unity uses. Then all the way in the back, there is a quarterly calendar that lets you know all of the things that are going around here, around here right now. And right behind that daily word, booklet, prayer text, is a card with a green tab on top that says welcome. And so we invite you to fill that out and to hand it to the usher or drop it in the offertory box. And if you would like to be included on our mailing list and our weekly e-news blast, we would be happy to put you on there. Many of the links that we use for the things that we do around here that are online are in that e-blast and very easy to click on and get to where you need to go rather than having to type everything in from the bulletin. Thank you so much for being with us here today. And if you look in your bulletin, you'll see all the wonderful things that are going on in this beautiful community. One of the things is that our ongoing program, Creating the Beloved Community, is going to be this Tuesday, October 15th, 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. This is the 8th month in a 10-month series that we've been doing, and we have 2 more months to go. And it's been, for me, it's been very enlightening. If you do the work, it works. And so it's been really a great way to really give an overall better understanding of how community works and how individual diversity comes together to create this beloved community that we have here, and how you can pinpoint people's strengths and use them together to create the cohesiveness in the community. And so, it's been wonderful, I think, for us to come together in this. Our last groundskeeping in-service for the year is going to be on November 1st, which is, I don't know why it says next Saturday, because it's not next Saturday, but that's okay. Probably because this was from the prior week, and we just didn't take that out of there. Good thing we're flexible. We're very flexible here. That's why we can just go with the flow of life and let things be as they are, and do our best. And so it is November 1st. That's the last groundskeeping in-service. And truly, we are all called to be a part of this in-service. These grounds, these beautiful grounds, are ours to take care of. And we have someone who mows for us, and we do the gardens, all of the gardening and the upkeep and the trimming with the bushes and all of that. And so I invite you to come here and help us put these grounds to rest on Saturday. You can come as you can. It's from 9 a.m. until 12 noon. Mary, our foreman, our ministry head for this program, for this ministry, is here usually way earlier than that. So come on in. If you can stay for an hour, stay for an hour. If you can stay the whole time, please stay the whole time, because many hands make light work, and it's also a really nice time of fellowship. So come and join us for that. Our Venture in Faith Prayer Vigil, this is the program that a 7-week series that we're in the middle of right now on this theme. I am actively accountable for my life. That prayer vigil is going to be on November 15th through Sunday, November 16th, and I'm very happy to say that it's about half full already, the 24 hours that are available. You are all invited to be a part of this. If you'd like to know more about that, talk to me about it. You can participate in person, which I highly recommend, because there is just created in this space a feeling of holy, sacred presence from the consciousness that's been built in here. And sitting in here, especially in the wee hours of the morning, even if you're here by yourself, it's a safe space. God is here. You are here. It is just this feeling of, you can feel the oneness. You can feel the love. You can feel the upliftment. You can feel the holiness of being here. And by being in this space, you're contributing to that. Now, we also know that prayer has no boundaries. And so if you are unable to participate in person, then please know that you also can participate virtually. There is a sign-up sheet in the narthex. There are open hours on that sheet. You can also participate in person and virtually. It doesn't have to be one person per hour. You can come in and participate anywhere in there that you are guided, drawn to participate. So please join us in that, because we know that where 2 or more are gathered, there am I am in the midst of them, and that is very powerful. So join us in that, please. Then we are having on our last Sunday of this program, during the service, so the service will probably go a little longer than it normally is, we are going to have a sacred commitment celebration and ceremony. So that is a time when you can make a commitment to your own spiritual growth, to this community that supports you in that, and a pledge to support this community financially so that we can continue to do what we do so well together. So come and join us for that as well. And then you can read the rest of this for yourself, because we have a lot going on here today. We're going to be going on into November, and and Christmas, and you can see what's happening there. Okay, I think that's everything. Oh, I did want to mention that if you are drawn to get involved, we have a couple ministries that really would love to have your involvement. And that is bookstore and grounds, as I had mentioned before, and greeting and ushering. So if you are drawn to be a part of that, come and talk to me. I love to talk about our ministries and how wonderful they are and how much you receive by being a part of that ministry and how much you give of your essence and your presence to this community and your love through service. So come and talk to me about that. Now, I will invite our daily word reader to come on up and read a daily word that is pertinent to today's lesson.
Today's daily word is thoughts, which comes from Wednesday, April the 29th, 1931. And our affirmation is, I now conform my every thought to the mind of Christ in me, and I am filled with thoughts of truth. You can find this affirmation on the inside cover of your bulletin. Let's affirm it together. I now conform my every thought to the mind of Christ in me, and I am filled with thoughts of truth. I give up the thinking of thoughts in opposition to the Christ mind within me. I give up thoughts of sin, evil, and disease. I conform my mind to the mind of truth, and I think thoughts based on the truth of Christ in me. Every thought of mine is now transformed into one in harmony with Spirit. I think heavenward and become identified with heavenly thoughts. Through right thinking, I am unified with divine mind. I recognize this mind as the only one there is in spirit. I know that what we call carnal or mortal mind has no reality in truth, and that our belief in it must give way to the truth of divine mind. Thoughts of peace, love, life, and substance now fill my mind to the exclusion of thoughts of inharmony, hate, lack, and death. I dedicate my every thought to God, divine truth. Henceforth, I shall think only those thoughts which are exalting, constructive, spiritual. When tempted to think adverse thoughts, I hasten to think thoughts of truth. Christ in me gives me the power to discipline my thinking. Our Bible verse is from 2 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 5. Bringing every thought into captivity to the obedience of God. 2:10, verse 5. And again, our affirmation is, I now conform my every thought to the mind of Christ in me, and I am filled with thoughts of truth.
So I'm going to start by addressing a couple of things in that daily word. I give up thoughts of sin, evil, and disease. The word sin, as many of you who have been in Unity a while already know, comes from a Greek word that is called hamartia. And that word is actually an archery term that literally means to miss the mark or to miss the target. That's what that Greek word means that's translated into sin. So in Unity, we see the word sin as meaning to miss the mark in our thinking. In other words, sin is thinking thoughts that are not in alignment with truth, and when they're not in alignment of truth, the subsequent result is due to sin, missing the mark in our thinking. And so the metaphysical definition of sin in Unity is error thinking. So when I hear that word sin, I immediately go to error thinking. Through right thinking, our daily word says, I am unified with divine mind, with God, the good, in which there is no sin, evil, or disease of any kind, because God is good, we just affirmed it, and only good. So we're made in the image and likeness of God, with the power of thought, which is our power to create. And so It would be our responsibility to be accountable for creating good. Now, the reason that we call, as it says, carnal or mortal mind, we say that it has no reality in truth, is that the thinking of that mind alone in us, because we have that mind, it's a part of us, the thinking of that mind alone is not in alignment with truth. It's not in alignment with God mind. So our belief in what that mind tells us, which is usually based on what's going on out here, has to give way to the truth of divine mind if we are to stand in the power of our divinity as made in the image of God. I must align myself with God mind, divine mind, whatever name you choose to give that in you, which is all potential and all possibility, because all potential and possibility lives in you. It's the I am of your being. And when I am aligned with that part of myself, it is the Christ in me that gives me power to discipline my thinking. So we have to be actively accountable for I am, our I am, and the words that follow it when we use it, because that's how we're going to transform our lives. When we really pay attention, when we're really aware, and we listen to the words that come out of our mouths, we can become even more aware of our thoughts and where they're aligned. Are they aligned with truth with a capital T or with untruth? And then we get to make a choice, which involves our faculty of will, as we talked about last week. It's by our faculty of will that we make decisions and choices. It's by our will that we will decide if we will be actively accountable for our lives, or if we will just let life pass by us or over us and do with us what it will. And that's a little I-T, little w. In his book, Atom Smashing Power of Mind, our co-founder Charles Fillmore states, and this is on the front of your bulletin, no man can acceptably serve God or his will, which is, somebody, what is the will of God? We just said it. Hello? What did you say, Kath? Divine mind. What is the will of God for us? I say it all the time. It's for us to be the best expression of God that we can be. The will of God for us is only good. Good, that's it. So no man can acceptably serve God or do his will until he understands the fundamental principles of thinking and how thoughts are made manifest as forms or states of consciousness. Hence, the importance of man's willing cooperation with God in every thought, because unless he is very wise in his thinking, he may be sending forth malformations that will cause both himself and the universe trouble. Has your thinking ever sent forth malformations that have caused you trouble? Absolutely. Especially, we know this at times when we put our foot in our mouth, right? Yeah. So that's a sign of error thinking. Something happened that caused us, some thinking happened that caused us to put our foot in our mouth and then caused us a world of trouble. Now, we have a principle in unity. It's our third unity principle. We call it the law of mind action. And it states that the thoughts we hold in mind produce after their kind. In other words, the thoughts that we hold and the words that we use according to those thoughts are what create our experience of life. Thoughts are very powerful. They're creative. And I'm not telling any of you anything that you probably don't already know, and yet it bears repeating. Because it's a great reminder that we must be actively accountable for our thoughts if we want to experience a life that is happier, more harmonious, and free from sin. So perhaps, as Fillmore said, we need to understand the fundamental principles of thinking and how thoughts work. What makes up a thought? Some of you already know this. Thoughts are made up of what we think and what we feel. We think about something, we have a feeling about it, and a thought is created, and that thought is based on beliefs, it's based on past experiences, and beliefs can be changed. Now, the past can't be changed. Guess what can be changed? Yes, our thoughts about it and our feelings about it. Thoughts are made up by what we think and what we feel. So, thinking plus feeling equals thoughts, and thoughts creates experience. And if we want to change our experience, then we need to change what we think and how we feel. And we have the power over what we think and feel. And when you really think about that, that's scary. We have power to create. It's scary because if that's true, then we have to be responsible for how we experience life. And so no one else is responsible for me but me and my thoughts. And so I am responsible for how I experience life. I am the choice maker. I am the decision maker. I decide what I will think and what I will feel. And I have the power to control that, rather than allowing it to control me. Nobody said it would be easy. And yet, this is the truth of it. So if I'm going to be actively accountable for my thoughts, I must be actively accountable for what I'm thinking and what I'm feeling, and I must be willing to take responsibility for it and the subsequent results. Remember last week, accountability is defined as the willingness to take responsibility for our actions. And our actions stem from our thoughts and beliefs. So if our actions are not getting us where we want to go or what we want out of life, then we probably need to do something different, and we need to be accountable for that. Now, today, our board secretary, Mary Pat Carrero, is going to share with you her experience of being accountable for her thoughts. And as we are being flexible with technology, you will be hearing her today. We're hoping you could see her too, but you will be hearing her.
Good morning. When Spirit gave me this topic, I actually chuckled to myself. I've been actively coming to terms with and changing the mind and thoughts and feelings since the mid-1980s, when I was introduced to New Thought spirituality and teachings through the Daily Word and Louise Hay, when her book, I Can Heal My Life, was given to me. I had never read or heard anything like that. Truly mind-blowing. Over the years of being a student of truth, I learned I am not the mind. I am not the thoughts and feelings. I am co-creator of my life with God. I'm doing my best to observe my thoughts, and if they are not true, kind, or supportive, I say delete, delete, a quick and easy form of denial for me. A number of years ago, Rich and I made a decision to upgrade our timeshare in Myrtle Beach. My thinking was that we would then have plenty of extra room to share with Brian's then girlfriend and her family when they got married, as it certainly looked like it would be happening. Within a few days of signing the contract, we realized it was not really in our best interest financially, and we were now in a position of trying to cancel the contract with this major hotel corporation. We did everything we could with what appeared to be a very dismal financial situation. I started to say an affirmation constantly, mostly to deal with the anxiety I was experiencing over the situation. The affirmation I started saying was, "No one and no thing can keep us from our good." No one and no thing can keep us from our good. Over and over again, I said it as we did what we thought we could do and needed to do in this situation. Within a few weeks, Rich noticed that our deposit was returned and the contract canceled. This felt like nothing short of a miracle for us. Our original contract, which we loved, was reinstated, and Brian never did marry that girl. Lots of lessons learned here. Retiring to Florida almost 2 years ago gave me opportunities to learn new skills as how to crochet, play the ukulele, and learn how to golf. In starting to learn these, I heard my mind say, "I don't think I can do this." My response was, "No, thank you. I'm going to learn and do these for me and my new grandbaby." No one and no thing, especially old insecure thoughts, will keep me from my good. Well, the baby blankets turned out beautiful, even better than my crochet teacher thought they would. Ukulele is going well, just starting to learn chords and maneuver my small fingers with long fingernails. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. It's really interesting how this little round piece of plastic and a hole in the ground can have such power over my mood at times. Not, I know. And I have to be honest, I have let it. I could get moody by thoughts of should haves, was trying to's, I thought I did, especially when it is in response to Rich's feedback. A while ago, I was watching golf on TV with Rich, and I noticed how these professionals playing for millions of dollars would miss their putting shots too, like I do. Really, Mary Pat? I became aware of how unreasonable my expectations were, and that my thoughts were interfering with what is really, for me, an opportunity to peacefully enjoy the paradise of a beautifully scenic golf course in Florida. I am getting better with changing the mind playing golf, with a good dose of humility and patience and a lot more sense of humor, this time out in nature. Having fun and getting some exercise with my husband is my favorite part of the day. Now, when I get an occasional 2 or even a hole in 1, as I did a few times on the putting course this past year, instead of a 5 or a 6 for a hole, I now say to myself, "See, you can do it. Good job." Or, "You did it once, you can do it again." And when I do get annoyed over still getting a 5 or 6 in putting, delete. After all, I am a divine mind in progress. I will leave you with 2 favorite scriptures of mine. For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and a sound mind. 2 Timothy 1, verse 7. And do not conform to the patterns of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Romans 12, verse 2. Thank you, and have a blessed day.
Now, because we didn't have the video, you didn't get to see her start when she was talking about the little round piece of plastic. She was holding a golf ball in her hand. And I want to clarify something that she said, because I want to make sure you heard it correctly. She stated, "I am not the mind. I am not the thought." She didn't say my. okay? And when she is talking about mind and thought in those instances, she's talking about little m mind, not the big divine mind. And she's talking about little thoughts, little t thoughts, because she knows that I am more than that. I am more than the mind. I am more than the thought. It's bigger than that. And then she goes on to share that in her experiences. And I really liked the golf analogy because it's very simple, and yet it's a great example of how thinking and feeling can work together to create experience. Does anybody in here golf? One person? I know my husband does, and I know how frustrated he gets. So I know that golfing can be very frustrating, and it can be very enjoyable, just like anything that we enjoy doing can be, probably. And it depends on the mindset. And that mindset is determined by our thoughts. So, am I here to win, or am I here to have fun? And yeah, I know, sometimes it's both, right? So, am I going to enjoy the process, or am I going to allow it to frustrate me? You shall decree a thing, and it shall be established unto you. To decree is to will. So where is our faculty of will aligned? With the Christ of our being, the great I am in us, or somewhere else, the little me? By opening our mind to change the way that we think, then that can affect how we feel about something. And then that can affect the entire outcome of the experience. In chapter 10 of Paul's second letter to the Corinthians, he talks about the inner struggle of aligning our thoughts with God, or with, as he puts it, the flesh, as our daily word put it, carnal mind. Because when we live solely from that mind, from our human personality rather than our individual divinity, things are a struggle. So this is what Paul says. This is 2 Corinthians chapter 10, verses 3 to 6. For though we walk in the flesh, we do not war according to the flesh. For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through God to the pulling down of strongholds, casting down reasonabilities and every high thing that exalts itself against the knowledge of God, and bringing into captivity every thought to the obedience of Christ, and having in a readiness to punish all disobedience when your obedience is fulfilled. For though we walk in the flesh, we do not war according to the flesh. In other words, though we live as human beings, we don't overcome the things of this human life according to human standards. That's not how we overcome. The word war, in this sense, comes from the Greek word polemos, and it means battle, conflict, strife. We are spiritual beings created to express God in human form. We are both human and divine, and that often creates a conflict within us. Paul goes on to say that the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through God to the pulling down of strongholds, casting down reasonings and every high thing that exalts itself against the knowledge of God. In other words, if we're going to overcome the things of the world, we're not going to do it with carnal or error thinking. We need to stand mighty in God as the truth of our being. The weapons of our warfare have divine power, and they're all around us. The power of faith, right judgment, strength and love. The power of imagination, will and understanding. The power of order, zeal, elimination, and life. These are the weapons we use to pull down the thoughts in our consciousness that have taken a stronghold. and would keep us from knowing God in us, as us, working through us, keep us from seeing God in one another. These are the weapons that we use to cast down the inner thoughts that would reason against the truth of being. These are the weapons, the powers that we have that we can use to overcome every high, prideful thought that would exalt itself above God, not allowing it to express as I am, in, through, and as me. We can be really manipulative with our I am. We can choose to use it as a cop-out rather than a truth. After all, I am only human. Or, well, that's just how I am. And where is our faculty of will aligned in all of that? I am not only human. I am human and divine. And the divine came first. I am the divine in human form. I am made to express that divinity through this human form. And if I'm not actively accountable for my thinking, for my feelings, for my thoughts and beliefs, well, because that's just how I am, then I'm not going to be I am that I am. There's no accident in how this adventure in faith journey unfolds. It begins, as it did last week, by being actively accountable for our spirituality first. So that from that truth of our being, and to the best of our understanding currently, we can acknowledge and take responsibility to be actively accountable for our thoughts. Because it's our thoughts that will determine how we express the rest of it, how we will express in and through our body, which we're going to talk about next week, in our relationships, in our community, in our creativity, in all the affairs of life, including our finances. It's our thought that will determine how we express. And if we don't align those thoughts with the number one truth, bringing every thought into captivity to the obedience of Christ, and being ready to punish all disobedience when our obedience is fulfilled, then it all goes down the tubes. The flesh wins the inner struggle, we don't grow, and our lives don't change. So we must bring every thought into captivity to the obedience of the Christ, the I am. And we must be ready to punish all disobedience so that our obedience is fulfilled. Getting a Greek lesson today. The Greek word for punish is kalozo, which means to chastise or correct. Now, have you noticed how things can get lost in translation? We've talked about 3 words today. And how our thoughts about those things, sin, war, punishment, can change when we have new understanding. We have the power to be actively accountable for our thoughts. We can start with small things like golf. And as we get better at the small things, it will become easier to apply these truths to the big things like relationships and finances. Thoughts are creative. And when they're centered in truth, the results can bring more happiness and satisfaction into our lives. It's when our thoughts are not centered in truth that we experience life on a different level. So I'm going to invite you now to stop and take a breath. To put everything aside, just if you're holding on into anything physical, stick it on the chair next to you. And just take some time to get still for a few moments and give some thought to some things that you might have heard here today. What resonates with you? So just breathe into this moment. Nice, deep, cleansing breath. And as you exhale, fully exhale, just letting go. Letting go. And breathe again. And let go. Allow your body to become comfortable where you are. Perhaps as you exhale, just drop your shoulders and relax your neck. And then on the next breath, breathe in, God is. And breathe out, I am. God is. I am. Know that God is, and I am in a safe, holy, and sacred place. That place within where God resides. God as I understand God to be. The God that I am open to knowing more, to experiencing more, to allowing to express through me more. Now I invite you to bring to mind a situation that you might be dealing with right now. Something small. Just something that you might have some concern over, or maybe something you need to make a decision about. Just bring it to mind and look at it. Let it settle in. What do I think about this situation? What belief am I holding about it? What belief am I holding about anyone that might be involved in it, including myself? And what feelings do these thoughts invoke in me around this situation? Centered in truth. I know that I am made with a foundation of faith. I am made in the image of God to stand strong in faith. Faith is my ability to perceive truth, to say yes to God and to be all I am created to be, and to live like I believe. And so I stand in that faith now. With faith, I am willing to see things differently, to look deeper, to find the good in the situation, to see the good in the other person or people involved. I may not like what is happening. I may not agree. Yet I can agree to disagree in love and in peace. And so I turn within to the Christ of my being. I call upon my powers of right judgment and love to create wisdom, and I know what is or is not mine to do in this situation. What is and is not mine to release and let go. Standing in the truth of my being, I am now empowered to see things differently. To listen to my heart, to search in my soul, to know when to stand fast and when to walk away. Now take another deep breath and let it go. Notice how you feel. Perhaps something has changed. Even if it's just the possibility that you can think about the situation differently. Maybe even to feel differently about it. At the very least, to be willing to think and feel about it differently. Centered in the truth of my being, I am open in mind and heart to all the potential and possibility this situation holds for me and for anyone else it touches. I am open, receptive, responsive, and obedient to the Christ within. And as I let God be God in me, I walk closer in the way and the nature of the truth of my divinity in all that I think, feel, say, and do. I live like I believe. My life is being transformed, and I am grateful. Amen.
You have felt the warmth of the fire. You have seen a glimmer of light. It's something that you have been missing inside. Something that you have been longing to find. Hold on to the yearning, and wherever you are on the journey, live like you believe, live like you know. It's one sure way your faith will grow. Listen to your heart, search in your soul, and you'll find the strength that you need. His light, the gift of His peace, when you live like you believe. There are things you have to let go. You might feel you're just hanging on when you find yourself alone and afraid, questioning all the choices you've made. Hold on to the burning. He's leading you on through the journey. Live like you believe, live like you know. It's one sure way your faith will grow. Listen to your heart, search in your soul, and you'll find the strength that you need. His light, the gift of His peace, when you live like you believe.
And now, remaining in this state of consciousness, I invite you to take the 2 commitment cards that are in your bulletin out. Don't do anything with them yet. Those of you with us virtually can follow along on the screen. And if you are willing to become actively accountable for your thoughts, then I invite you to read this card with me aloud together. I am actively accountable for my thoughts. I choose thoughts that uplift, inspire, and align with my highest good and the highest good of those around me. I commit to being consciously aware of my thoughts and raising them to a level that is a true reflection of my divine nature. Now, if you so choose, I invite you to sign the card. Both of them. And I invite you to take one of these cards home with you. Put it somewhere where you can see it throughout the year, because this is our theme for the year. And it'll be a reminder of the commitment that you've made. And if you would like support in keeping that commitment, then you can place the second card in the offertory box, and they will be displayed, as you can see the ones from last week are, out in the narthex. And that is so that we can each lovingly support one another in keeping our commitment throughout the year. So they're going to stay up there. Those of you who are participating virtually can download the commitment cards from our website, theunitychurch.org. Just click on the tab entitled Calendar of Events. You can print them out, and feel free to mail a copy or email a copy to us, and we will add it to those that are here in the sanctuary or in the narthex of the church. And so now, I just invite you to take that with you today. Whatever it was that you received, take it with you. I hope you received something. And I invite you to participate with us at this moment in affirming the abundance of the universe. And this is our opportunity to practice generosity and give right now. And so, in so doing, I invite you to take your gifts in your hands, in your hearts, in your minds and your thoughts, as we say the offertory prayer, the affirmation that is in our bulletin together. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I give and all that I receive, and for this I am grateful. And I invite you to say this with me again, using the pronouns us and we, as we say it as one together. Divine love through us blesses and multiplies all that we give and all that we receive. And we see these gifts so lovingly and generously given, going to support the Christ-based teachings within each person here, within our lives, within our communities, as we live and exemplify the principles. And as always, we are grateful for the honor and privilege of being part of this wonderful movement of spirit that we know and love as Unity Church of Christ. Amen. And I invite you to give your gifts by dropping them in the offertory box in the back. And yes, and also I did want to remind you that if you missed last week and you would like cards from last week, you can get them from the usher, and you can drop one of those in the box too, and we'll make sure that we get it up in here for you. Thank you, Missy. All right, and so now we are going to close with the I Choose Love and the prayer for protection.
Peace in my life is growing because I choose love. Love's always present, it's what I'm made of. I choose love. We are a part of each other. We are one tie that binds us, that can't be undone. I choose love. Peace in my family is growing because I choose love. Let love be present, it's what we're made of. I choose love. We are a part of each other. We are one loving family, sharing one sun. I choose love. Yes, I do. Peace for our planet is growing because I choose love. Let love be present, it's what we're made of. I choose love. We are a part of each other. We are one choice unites us. Let this be the one. I choose love. I choose love. I choose love.
Please join me in the prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. I am light. The love of God enfolds us. I am love. The power of God protects us. I am power. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. For wherever we are, God is, and where God is, all is well. And I see you this week standing in these truths, embracing these truths, embodying these truths, knowing that they are what support you in being actively accountable for your thoughts and your life. Amen.
When I'm feeling down and blue, I found a trick that I'll share with you. I can choose a better way with every little thought I think. If I wake up with a bad attitude, I fill my mind with gratitude. I give thanks for everything with every little thought I think. I can choose to be happy, choose to be free, moment by moment. It's all up to me, 'cause what I think about, I bring about. That's the way it is, and there is no doubt. Day by day, I pave the way with every little thought I think. What you thinking? What you thinking? What you thinking? What you thinking? share with you. I can choose a better way with every little thought I think. And if I wake up with a bad attitude, I just fill my mind with gratitude. I give thanks for everything with every little thought I think. I can choose to be happy, choose to be free, moment by moment. It's all up to me, 'cause what I think about, I bring about. That's the way it is, and there is no doubt. Day by day I pave the way with every little thought I think. Day by day I pave the way with every little thought I think. Whoa, day by day I pave the way with every little thought I think. What you thinking? 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 You gotta watch your thinking. Watch your thinking.